Hello everyone, welcome to GGN. This is part 3 for this news report today for Wednesday, May 15th, 2013. I'm Darko. Alright, this is part 3, but there's probably going to be about 6 parts, so check them out. Billionaires, we're going to talk about the economy here in this third video. Billionaires dumping stocks, economists know why. Despite the 6.5% stock market rally over the last 3 months, a handful of billionaires are quietly dumping their American stocks. So they complained of disappointing performance. And American companies that usually, I guess, perform like Kraft Foods and Johnson & Johnson. One thing to remember is like when you see the economy's doing well, what does that mean? It means that the actual individual worker, is it going well for them? No. The unemployed person? No. It basically means that the top tier, I mean, most of the stock market is owned by few groups or entities. And most corporations run pretty much the same, where the people at the top, that they don't do all the work, they don't produce anything, they just, you know, they're out the door in the afternoon to go golfing early. But the people that actually produce things and do the actual work, they get paid the least, where the person at the top gets compensated the most. So as long as they can keep getting their huge amounts of money, even if it means, you know, kicking people loose, workers, and stripping benefits, as long as they can still get their profit margin for them at the top, all that money goes to them, you know, then the economy is doing well. But it's weird because the economy then is doing bad when people lose their jobs, and that basically converts into what? They lost their jobs because the people at the top still want to make a killer amount of money. Just imagine if we really did have some kind of a democratic, I hate using this word, a system, because ultimately I like a type system. It's kind of like what they had in Spain, or I hate to use this word, a narco-communism. It's two very, very bad, strange, dangerous words. But when people basically are not separated from the work that they do and the goods that they produce, and they're able to basically fully get something out of it. Whereas the person at the top who doesn't do anything gets all this money, and the people at the bottom, you imagine the standards of living, that how much they would go up if the average worker actually owned the means of production, as they put it. I do. I mean, I don't see why that people couldn't you know, work maybe 3 days a week and 6 hours a day and still be as prosperous, if not more prosperous, than they are now, especially with machines and all that coming in. That just goes to show you how much money and wealth is being siphoned off into fewer and fewer hands. When these people who are already raping people as not just tax slaves, wage slaves for cheap labor, but they're going to get even more when they fire these people and replace them with machines. All right, I'm done with my little diatribe there. Surprise healthcare law creating some jobs. So I don't, this didn't come up before. I don't know why it's coming up now. But basically it says that this thing was supposed to be, the Obamacare is supposed to be a job killer, right? And I said that it won't. That it will actually increase or give a bump to unemployment, or actually, yeah, it'll bring down unemployment, i.e. people are getting hired. Well, that's only because people are going to try to avoid the Obamacare mandate and make them into what? Into part-time. So they'll fire other people, or they'll just reduce their hours to part-time. Then they'll have to hire other people to compensate for that without paying benefits. Again, this is how it works. The new American job is part-time, so those jobs will be part-time. Half of all U.S. jobs created in the past 3 years were low-paying. Past 3 years, low-paying jobs, according to economists like the Royal Bank of Scotland. So it says here, 6.2 million jobs created since the job market first started. Its historically lousy recovery in 2010 has been in private sector, private service sectors. So it says here 40,000 attributed to high-paying and average-paying jobs. Sectors that pay poorly include retail, leisure, hospitality, and education. Making matters worse, the percentage of people working part-time is still higher than it was before the recession. Okay, moving on here. Greek jobless rate rises to 27% in February. Not a big shocker here, but this is followed by Greece youth unemployment hits 60% as the recession continues to cripple the economy. Study says U.S. labor participation may be low for years. Workers who have dropped out of the labor force may take several years to begin searching for work, says a Federal Reserve economist says in a paper offering insights into the health of the labor market. Now, that's another point to go back to what I was saying about, quote, systems to live under, is competing, right? You were talking about the labor market. Why do people have to compete against each other over work, over the ability to live? That's like when I saw Chavez in Venezuela going in a documentary telling these locals, farmers, about how to create communal farming. I'm like, what are you talking about? These people probably did that before he even came. Before there was even governments and stuff like that. I'm sure they knew how to run community farms. But see, the thing is that he started dogging on this one dairy farmer, saying, oh, you need to increase how many liters of milk you're producing. You need to increase that. It's like, well, why? If the community or the local area is being provided, then why do you have to increase production? Why do we have to compete with other countries? Why do we have to compete with other townships or cities? Because that's how the capitalist system works. In order for these companies and that businesses to be able to continue, they have to constantly basically take over and take over other companies, take over all their competition until there's one company. And that's what we're living through right now. More U.S. youths driving. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know a lot about the economy. I'm just giving my own little 2 cents there. Okay, so. More U.S. youths drop out of high school and prefer GED. So more American teenagers have decided to forego traditional high school education with their peers while opting for a general education development, or GED. It says because their home lives are unstable, or because of poor health or pregnancy. Also because there's not too much to really look forward to in the way of getting a college education. Of course, if you are a minority, you may have a better chance than, say, a white middle-class person who can't afford to send their kids to college and they can't get financial aid. But talking about retail jobs, service sector jobs, you know, they keep talking about college, because it is a big business. The whole loan bubble, who knows if that thing will ever pop, the college debt loan bubble. But that was created. It's just like the housing, you know, giving things to people that they don't need, right? What do you need a college degree? What do you even need a high school degree to be able to go push some buttons? I mean, it's like that movie Idiocracy. They just got little logos. I mean, the person doesn't even talk. They just try to interpret what the customer's saying, and they press these little images on the buttons, no words or anything. It's crazy how like, maybe if you went back to maybe the 1800s, and maybe even prior to that, it would depend on what type of class you lived in, what middle class, lower class, whatever. But still, even the lower middle class that were back in the 1800s in America were probably a lot smarter than high school students today. And then again, a lot of them were homeschooled. Whites-only scholarship could end at Columbia, says Columbia University hopes it can finally rid a long-standing fellowship of its racist requirements. Racist requirements. Says here they're trying to change the rules on a long-standing fellowship which has some strange and even racist requirements. They're hoping to free up grant money for this graduate fellowship from its stipulations, which include, among other things, a restriction to students of the Caucasian race. So, racist requirements. Let's see. Most of the individuals or people that created these universities were white. It was usually a white country. I know it was off killing all the Indians, but it was founded by whites. So, I mean, if you want to maintain your people, maintain your culture and your race, which again doesn't exist anymore, you might want to do this. So that's being racist. If you want to be tribalist, or if you want to look out after your people, that's racist. That's why I said it's funny. You know, I can't call them useful idiots anymore, but sleepers or Shabbos Goy, they're fulfilling this agenda by pushing multiculturalism and diversity, all in the name of being politically correct. This is what happens as America converts into a nation of renters. So Wall Street got into the single-family home business about a year ago. It says the win-win idea is to buy and rent until prices increase enough to make selling profitable. Investors can improve neighborhoods by fixing up vacant properties, providing low-cost housing to people who are recovering from foreclosure. But as the Sacramento Bee reports, a responsible landlord is not guaranteed, and while no one is bashing renters, experts say it is human nature to care more for where you live when you own. Renters can change the culture of a neighborhood. Another thing, going back to what we were talking about the system, is people rent out their time. They rent out their time. Most of the time, people don't get the return on investment for their time. That's why you look at private property, private business and stuff like that, private enterprises. It means it's basically a person has the right. A person has the right to hire other people to rent out their time to do things that they couldn't do by themselves. And the only real risk that the owner or whatever incurs is usually what? It's out of the it's not, basically coming from the usury system, is that they default on their loans, their business loans, and they just declare bankruptcy. But all those people, like I said, they get fired, they get let loose, no matter if they starve or can't find another job. Again, the economy good, all these retailers are all hiring, they're getting more. It's why? It sounds good, but it's all about what? Trickle-down effects, trickle-down economics. It's not because they're real nice people, it's because they have an opportunity to make a lot more money for themselves at the top. It's an insane idea to think that people go to work every day to pay off a mortgage for a house that's way overpriced. I mean, they'll work for 30 years every day going to a job a lot of people don't even want to go to. Pay for a shelter to live in. 91-year-old man raises money to prevent eviction by daughter. So he wants to stop his daughter from evicting him from a home he built 56 years ago. And that's what I was saying. In Ohio, most people used to build their houses. Shut them down. Payday loan companies are making billions preying on the misery of the poor. So 391 annual percentage rate on some of these loans. Again, it's all about exploitation. That's basically what it's about. Petrol price rigged for a decade. Says in the UK that they raise fears that motors have been taken for a very expensive ride. Ooh, fears. Ooh, maybe it happened. Who knows? Maybe it didn't. Saying companies are suspected of distorting the oil price since 2002, meaning drivers have potentially been ripped off for more than 10 years. Says petrol has dramatically risen by more than 80%. Hospital bills make no sense. It's official. $5 for a procedure in one hospital costs $233,000 in another, and they do that same thing with the gas stations as well. Price gouging and fixing. Florida tweaks traffic lights to rob citizens of millions of dollars. Well, that's the whole point. It's about collecting revenue. So there's a significant tweak to Florida's rules regarding traffic signals have allowed local cities and counties to shorten yellow light intervals, resulting in millions of dollars in additional red light camera fines. Yeah, I saw that personally in Chicago when I was there recently. One light to get on a main road, mind you, that a lot of people travel. You're trying to travel going north, you're trying to go west, basically coming from the south. You try turning on it, and you wait there behind all these cars in a turning lane for about 5 minutes at a time for the turning light to go on. It lasts for about, the green light lasts for about 5 seconds. You wait 5 minutes and it goes for about 5 seconds, and there's hardly any yellow light. It's literally another form of like a type of speed trap, because they know when you're waiting there and you're watching this light go about 5 times just so that you can turn and watch the intervals go 5 times, eventually you're just going to go through it, and then they're going to snap a picture. But in the end, it does cause traffic accidents, makes the roads less safe. Department of Homeland Security shuts down Dwala payments to and from Mt. Gox. So they issued a seizure warrant for the funds associated with the account. So DHS shut down the ability to use Dwala, a mobile payment service, to withdraw and deposit money into Mt. Gox and Bitcoin trading. Yeah, a Bitcoin trading platform. So Amazon launches its own virtual currency called Coins and gives tens of millions away for free to U.S. Kindle owners. One Amazon coin is worth 1 U.S. penny. So we'll see. Like I said before, I sometimes wonder if Amazon's actually run by like this. It's actually part of part of the government, like Facebook. And if that holds true, then they would be able to do their own little Bitcoins, to compete with Bitcoin, and of course put them out of business. Any alternative, much like the 3D printed gun. The Bank of Japan head says no bubble here as Nikkei rises 45% in 2013. And we'll basically come back to this article in part 3. This is GGN on Darko. Thank you.